Welcome back to Pop Dissected. Today we're going to be talking about 10 of the most impactful and iconic female artists of the past decade. This is not a ranking video, and this video won't be in any specific order. I'm simply going to be listing off my personal picks and why I believe they've been important to the music industry. I do want to say this is entirely my own opinion, and of course I'll give my justification for these choices as well. If I didn't include an artist you think I should have, please comment down below who it is and why. I'd love to make this list longer, but to keep things concise, we're sticking to 10, with a few honorable mentions. Before we jump into the video, be sure to drop a like and subscribe for more future content on all your favorite pop stars. First on my list is Sia. She is by far one of the most underrated artists of this decade. And yes, she's been in the industry since the 90s actually, but recently rose to mainstream success in the 2010s and received a lot more recognition for her work. Prior to her record 1,000 Forms of Fear in 2014, Sia had released 5 studio records. Her 5th record, We Are Born, released in 2010, was the record that helped her achieve more mainstream success. Burdened by growing fame, Sia became addicted to a lot of drugs, refused to promote her music, and would wear masks on stage. After a 12-step program, Sia left the pop star life behind and has now become predominantly a songwriter. She still of course performs her music live, but always obscures her face. I think this does one of two things. It firstly gives a focus to the performance and the vocals. Sia is known for having former Dance Mom star Maddie Ziegler in many of her works, and Sia really lets Maddie take the center stage and shine. Sia denies herself spotlight, opting to highlight other artists and their talent. This also highlights Sia's powerful vocals. She's insanely talented when it comes to her singing, and as a listener, you have no choice but to focus on her vocals when she performs. Secondly, Sia is able to do what she loves without the burden of fame. And you may be wondering, well, if you didn't want fame, then why are you doing what you're doing? Fame can be incidental sometimes. I think an artist should be able to pursue what they love without being obligated to tours, promo events, and so on. We've seen so many celebrities come out about how fame has negatively impacted them. And of course, we can't understand, because we aren't them. We glamorize fame so much, we don't always understand the huge physical, emotional, and psychological effects it can have on people. I think Sia is impactful because of her choice to highlight other artists within her own work, and still show people they can pursue what they love despite the fears of what may come with it. Sia is iconic because of her show-stopping vocals, and obviously, her notorious split-colored wig. Second, we have Miley Cyrus. I think a lot of you may know where this is going. Miley went from America's sweetheart to a controversy queen. She started out on the Disney show Hannah Montana, releasing 5 studio records as Hannah Montana, 3 of which went #1 on the Billboard 200. Miley is one of the first artists to launch a massively successful singing career from a television show. Her emergence and notoriety was unstoppable during her Hannah Montana days. Of course, growing up in the life of fame is never easy. As she grew older, Miley began adopting a much more edgy image, such as with her 2010 record, Can't Be Tamed. But in 2013 was when things changed. Bangers launched Miley Cyrus back into the mainstream in a provocative and controversial way. I think the controversy stems from who Miley Cyrus was. She was a teen idol for so many young audiences, and we know many people oppose this new image from Miley because of how it may affect her younger fans. Nonetheless, Miley's comeback was one of the most talked about and recognized comebacks of this decade. This comeback was Miley truly captivating the industry and shifting effectively into a more mature artist. The shift is quite literally one of the most important moments of the industry and pop culture. Bangers additionally earned a Grammy nomination. It debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200, further certifying Miley's comeback in the industry. Miley is impactful because of how she's been able to navigate through growing up in fame and make a successful, albeit shocking transition from a teen star to a more mature artist. She's iconic for obviously the character of Hannah Montana, but more recently, her tongue, twerking, and her wildly crazy costumes and set pieces she's shown off on the Bangers tour. Third, we have Adele. Adele is an artist who has been able to continually captivate the world and earn millions of sales with each of her record releases. She's had 3 #1 albums. As of 2019, 21 has sold over 31 million copies worldwide, and as of 2018, 25 has sold over 22 million copies worldwide. Both records have been certified diamond in the United States as well. But what has made Adele so impactful, and how has she continually been able to rake in so much success? With each record, Adele has been able to improve upon and add to her image and sound in a way that doesn't stray from the roots of who she is. She's maintained a consistent image with her music and the themes explored in her work. This creates a dedicated fan base and continually engages the general public. Adele, similar to Sia, has focused primarily on her voice when performing. Her performances and videos keep true to the tone of her music, so she's never out there with crazy wigs or crazy costumes. Her art is focused solely on her voice and the story of her music. This highlights her incredible talent. There's nothing she hides behind. Lastly, Adele mastered a comeback with 25, and will likely be seeing that comeback again with a new record. By disappearing following the immense success of 21, she was able to build immense anticipation for her new music. Adele has found a brilliant way to manage her career. She's impactful because of her ability to generate massive sales and constantly engage listeners. She's iconic because of her subdued image that focuses more or less on the story of her music and her vocals. Fourth, we have Ariana Grande. While she entered the spotlight by co-starring on Victorious, it was her debut record, Yours Truly, that launched her into the mainstream and began her rise as a main pop girl. Ariana has been recognized for her vocals, being favorably compared to Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey. 4 of her 5 records peaked at number 1 on the Billboard 200, with Dangerous Woman peaking at number 2. Ariana has been able to sustain her success through her exposure. From 2013 to 2019, she released 5 records, 53 singles, including non-record singles, promotional singles, and features, and she embarked on 4 headlining tours. The fact she's always working has contributed to her massive success. On top of that, Ariana has been able to build a strong connection with fans and listeners through social media. Ariana knows how to use social media and is able to communicate honestly, constantly, and authentically with those who follow her. Thus, she's generated constant engagement. While Victorious was her start, Ariana has been able to build her own career through her very hard work and constant dedication to her fans. She's impactful because she's another example of a former TV starlet launching a massively successful singing career. She's impactful also because of her ability to constantly have work in circulation and show others how that hard work pays off. I'd say she's iconic because of her signature ponytail and how she's able to hit some wildly impressive notes, and seemingly has never had a rocky performance in terms of vocals. Fifth, we have Nicki Minaj. What Nicki has done for hip-hop and rap cannot be understated. She's quite literally made an imprint on the genre, as well as the industry. What makes Nicki notable is how she burst into the mainstream in a way that was animated, colorful, and presented with a slick and unique flow. Nicki's work has also influenced a number of current female rappers we see today in the industry. And if you're able to influence and inspire others in your respective genre, your impact is undeniable. Nicki has broken a multitude of records in her career, from being the most awarded female rapper of all time to having the most Hot 100 entries for a woman. Nicki arguably has also been the most recognizable name in the hip-hop and rap genre. Despite it being a genre primarily dominated by men, Nicki has proven time and time again she's able to rise above her male colleagues in a variety of different ways. Nicki has also shown great versatility in her career as well, from her music to her public image to her performances. And this type of versatility continually generates interest, as well as dedication for the anticipation of what may come next for the artist. Nicki is impactful because she is one of the biggest current names in the hip-hop and rap genre, and is arguably the most recognized and known female in that genre. She's iconic for her ability to not only be salacious, but also always speak her mind and not take shit from anybody. She champions for artist rights and calls people out when they're wrong, and that type of bluntness is admirable. Sixth, we have Beyonce. Most of the time when discussing Beyonce, many people will just call her queen or legendary without really diving into what makes her such a powerful artist in the industry. First off, Beyonce began her career in the girl group Destiny's Child. This, of course, thrust her into the mainstream, and she was recognized by many as the standout artist of the group. While Beyonce's music is recognizable and has generated so much success, there's a quite few important factors of her career that makes her so impactful to the industry. Beyonce has worked with an endless amount of charities. She's rallied behind movements such as Black Lives Matter and has been an advocate for gender equality. Her work with Black Lives Matter highlights an important aspect of who Beyonce is. She empowers the Black community, and with her record Lemonade, she explored, as quoted, the Black experience. Beyonce has been able to highlight rights and also issues facing the Black community, such as police brutality, in a way that is impactful and eloquent. Her overall activism is delivered in this way, which is why she is recognized so much for what she does for others. On top of this, Beyonce is seen as a feminist icon for her constant championing of women's rights. What makes Beyonce so impactful is her endless philanthropy and ability to connect with so many people through her activism and use her celebrity status for good. And tying back to how I began my discussion, Beyonce is iconic because she is iconic. 7th, we have Rihanna. The first thing we have to recognize about Rihanna is her timeless and memorable hit songs. Her biggest singles have longevity to them, and her discography has a mass appeal that keeps audiences engaged and interested in her. Aside from influencing dozens of modern artists and venturing very successfully into her own business endeavors, what makes Rihanna so impactful is how she's always remained relatable and authentic throughout her career. Rihanna has always been seen as having a carefree, forward attitude, whether it comes to interviews or being on stage. In short, she's being herself. When audiences see that, they instantly become supportive and enamored with that artist. Rihanna's personality has contributed so much to her success and likability, and furthermore has contributed to the interest in her music. Rihanna is also seen as a fashion icon, never giving a single fuck about what people think of her fashion and always being bold and daring with her looks. She's also created her own foundation in order to help impoverished communities with most notably healthcare and education. Not only that, but she's been outspoken about police brutality and even declined to perform at the Super Bowl in support for Colin Kaepernick. And whether you agree or disagree with that is your own opinion, of course, but Rihanna has always unapologetically spoken her mind in her career. Rihanna is impactful because of her way of constantly displaying authenticity to generate honest connections between her fans and her music, and for her philanthropy and daring to always be blunt about her viewpoints. And she's iconic for her hit songs, stunning looks, and simply remarkable sense of fashion. 8th, we have Katy Perry. Katy Perry is a singles giant. With 4 records, she's accumulated 135 million digital downloads. Her tracks Roar, Dark Horse, and Firework have all been certified diamond in the United States, making her the only artist to have 3 diamond certified singles. Additionally, she's the first woman and second artist to achieve 5 #1 singles off 1 record. Part of Me, off the re-release of Teenage Dream, would have counted, earning her 6 #1 singles, but that's a discussion for another day. So with this, Katy is most notable for her huge hit singles. While her record sales are not in the same league as her other industry colleagues, she still does sell well. Aside from her singles, Katy is known for her colorful and outlandish videography. No 2 of her videos seem the same, and she always has presented an unexpected or stunning visuals and stories in her music videos. Katy is also known for her anthemic tracks, and always pushing positivity in the majority of her discography. She's also recognized for her philanthropic efforts, such as her work with the Boys and Girls Club and UNICEF. Additionally, she's been awarded for her LGBT advocacy. Lastly, she's influenced artists such as Dua Lipa and Ariana Grande, who both look up to Katy immensely. Katy Perry is impactful with her ability to be a single-selling giant, having a timeless discography, her eye for detail in everything she does, and her constant kindness and charity work she extends to others. And what makes her iconic? I'd say most notably her array of colorful hairstyles, adorning candies on her breasts, and her show-stopping performances. 9th, we have Lady Gaga. It's safe to say Lady Gaga invented the modern aesthetic of pop music. She came onto the scene with wild videos, insane costumes, and music that helped popularize the electro-pop genre. Gaga's daring to be brave and creative shaped how many female artists after her would do the same. Whether it be avant-garde costumes, wild performances, or spectacular music videos, Lady Gaga became one of the first of our modern pop girls to do just that. I believe by Gaga being so outrageous with her spectacle, it pushed other female pop artists to be as outrageous as possible. And while I think we see how many artists have been directly influenced by Gaga in terms of visuals, I think Gaga really made a lot of other female pop artists have their own spectacle and image. The early 2010s was all about spectacle. Most of the popular female artists in the game had their own version of some insane, colorful, wild world with costumes and standout performances. Aside from being a clear pop culture influence, Gaga has been recognized from the beginning of her career as an advocate for LGBT rights, as well as the creation of the Born This Way Foundation. Lady Gaga is impactful for how she reshaped the scope of pop music and what it means to be a performer. She's also impactful for being very outspoken for humanitarian rights throughout her entire career. She is iconic not only because of her meat dress, but her other bizarre costumes and her incredible live shows. Before we get to the end of the list, I'd like to name a few honorable mentions. I won't be diving deep into these artists, but I thought it was still important to recognize them. So, our honorable mentions are Kesha, Selena Gomez, Pink, Lana Del Rey, Lorde, and Cardi B. Alright, and lastly, you probably guessed it, we have Taylor Swift. The 2010s have been the decade Taylor Swift has cemented herself as an icon of the industry and one of the most impactful artists of our time. Taylor Swift has broken so many records this decade, I can't possibly list them all. Some of her most recent records, however, is that the Reputation Stadium Tour is the second highest grossing tour by a woman of the 2010s, and the third highest grossing tour by a woman of all time. She's had 4 records debut with over 1 million sales, and has had 6 #1 consecutive records. With her latest record, Lover, she pulled in massive pure sales numbers, and had every track off the record chart on the Hot 100. So you get it, Taylor Swift is a powerhouse. But why? At a young age, she became America's country darling. She was relatable, understandable. She connected to fans her age, and was recognized for her extraordinary talent. As Taylor Swift has grown up, she has carried along that initial fan base throughout her career. Not only that, but with her last 4 records, she experimented with her sound, image, and music videos in a way that captures a mass appeal and draws in more people. Taylor Swift is an incredibly smart businesswoman as well, and has very much been able to keep her career on a constant incline. Taylor is also known for the massive amount of charity and philanthropy she does, and most recently, her encouraging people to vote, as well as her support for LGBT rights. Taylor Swift is impactful because she is arguably the most impactful, recognizable, and successful artist of this decade. Her talent, storytelling, and vulnerability has put her a step above the rest. She's iconic for her signature red lips, love of cats, and having a flawless discography that truly is music history. And there you have it, everybody. Those are my picks for the top 10 most impactful and iconic female artists of this decade. Making this video got me really nostalgic, and it was so amazing to look back at the past 10 years of music and look at these artists' careers and see how they've evolved and grown. It's truly amazing to think that we've lived a decade of pop music history, and we have a whole nother decade upon us. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Be sure to drop a like and subscribe for more future content on all your favorite pop stars.